This episode is brought to you by Amazon. Sometimes the most painful part of getting sick is the getting better part. Waiting on hold for an appointment, sitting in crowded waiting rooms, standing in line at the pharmacy, that's painful. Amazon One Medical and Amazon Pharmacy remove those painful parts of getting better with things like 24/7 virtual visits and prescriptions delivered to your door. Thanks to Amazon Pharmacy and Amazon One Medical, healthcare just got less painful.
So the law of attraction may be hurting you more than it's helping you. Okay? What if I told you that there is more information in what you are disappointed by than this whole concept of the law of attraction? You are what you attract. Guys, what's going on? Welcome to the Bird Brain Podcast, where the goal is to rise above it all, stay elevated, create the infinity, and uplift you. I can't tell you, for the last 6 years, almost 7 years, when I do that slogan, I still get caught up sometimes, and it's so it's such an important piece to the podcast, and it still trips me up. And sometimes it's because my mind is going a lot faster than my mouth is moving. I promise you. There's so many thoughts up here. And first of all, how are you guys? How are you doing? How are you feeling? How's life been going? Okay. This has been such a quick year. This has been such a interesting experience, right? A lot of life lessons all packed into 365 days. Then you break that down into minutes, moments, and you learn a lot about the theme of life or the patterns or just how life works in certain ways. And, one concept I've, for a long time, I think I aligned with because I heard it so much, is like, you are what you attract, right? You are what you attract. And for some people, or for a lot of people, that may be a very disheartening thing. Because if we look at certain pitfalls, we look at certain relationship dynamics, they can be very tumultuous, they can be very traumatic, they can be very painful, very dangerous. And if a person believes that they are the reason for those experiences, right? I am what I attract, so I must be this person, or I must be these circumstances, then that kind of puts them in a very defeating space. In a space that doesn't really allow there to be a different outcome, right? If a person believes that they are inherently everything that they attract, then that would remove a lot of how the world works, okay? It does this thing, the law of attraction does this thing at two times. It seems to create this idea that the world revolves around me, all right? And everybody is operating on my time frame, okay? But what it also tells me is that sometimes I'm defective, right? So what if I told you that you're not necessarily what you attract, instead what you align with, right? What you cultivate, that may have more information in terms of how you function and how you operate than just this concept of the law of attraction, right? A simple example, let's say you're driving down the street and someone cuts you off, right? And they continue to keep driving, or they're angry, and yeah, you may be impacted in a moment, but if somebody says, yeah, you are what you attract, and you say, well, I was just driving my way to work, I was having such a good day, this person just cut me off and I don't even know who they are, so what do you mean that I attracted that? What am I doing wrong? And then a person just kind of goes into this downward spiral when they're like, am I really happy? Am I really a good person? If that person did that to me, then how am I impacting other people around me? taken out of context, that this person could be running late. They could be having a bad day, right? There's so many things going on. And if it wasn't you that they cut off, it would have been someone else. Okay, sometimes this law of attraction thing can make us very self-centered, but in a very unhealthy way. And we start thinking that we are in control of everything and everyone around us. Okay, and we are the conductor of how things function and work out. Something that I realized for myself is when it comes to like self-worth and value, right? Sometimes people will want more from you while still providing less, okay? Still not willing to invest properly. And if we go by the concept of you are what you attract, then that would mean, okay, then I'm not worth much, okay? If this person is attracted to me and they like what I offer, however, they don't feel the need to value me properly, that means that I am not of value, right? I am what I attract. I'm bringing this person into my world for a reason, okay? Overlooking a different dynamic, okay? You are not what you attract. Instead, you are what you cultivate, or you align more with what you cultivate. And the fact that I may have resistance to this idea of being undervalued, that tells me more than the fact that somebody just likes who I am, or they like my energy, or they want something from me, right? It's important to look at things that way, right? And the reason why I say that is because there are some people who may be in very unhealthy relationships, right? Very unhealthy relationships, very scary relationships. And if somebody says to them, well, yeah, you are what you attract, that person would be like, well, I'm not abusive, I'm not manipulative, I'm not calculated. Like, I don't treat people this bad unless I really am that kind of individual. All right. Now, if we switch that mind frame and we say you are not what you attract, however, what you decide to cultivate may have more information.
Kroger Delivery has one mission: to deliver the freshest food right to your door. That's why our drivers are pros. Our trucks are refrigerated. And when it comes to low prices, we always deliver. With $20 off your first order of $75 or more, there's no better time to get in on the action. Mission accomplished. Restrictions apply. See site for details.
A person may not be a bad person, however, they may think that this is the best they can get from a relationship. And they start to make excuses, or they start to make accommodations for this person in this dynamic, right? I get used to the abuse, if you will. So by design, I may not be an abusive person. However, I am cultivating a relationship with someone who is, which means that I think in some way, shape, or form, it's okay, or I make myself okay with it. You get what I'm saying? Right? At the end of the day, sometimes it's just simply cool to look at what you were affected by, right? I know for myself, when I look at what I'm sensitive to, what I'm bothered by, what I'm happy about, okay? All of those things provide me a lot more information than just this idea of like, Isaiah, you are what you attract. I'm not. Think of a street light, okay? If you're walking down the street, you see a street light overhead, and you see a bunch of different bugs flying around the street light. You have moths, you have flies, mosquitoes, different variations of bugs, right? Attracted to this one light. The light is not a bug, the light is just a light, and the light just happened to be on, okay? And if that light was to turn off, those bugs would fly away and they go somewhere else. So I want you to think about it in your mind and in your life process. We will experience people and people will experience us, and we are all just living, okay? We may all be connected to some capacity, however, we are still all just living our individual lives. And it's not always about what you attract, okay, or what you come in contact with. It's simply about what you're willing to invest in, what you're willing to cultivate, okay? If there's a certain person who seems to always be in some drama, okay, some kind of catastrophe, there's just always something happening in their lives, or they always are in the mix of somebody else's dysfunction. That could be a lot of information there, okay? How is it that this person is always involved in this dynamic, okay, or these situations or these circumstances? Because they might be problematic, Okay, they might have a certain level of desire to exist in dysfunction. All right. I want you to think about lately what you feel has been a recurring pattern in your life. Okay. And I want you to think of the theme. And I want you to recognize what you may have said to yourself about this. Okay. There are a lot of ideas around money, for example. Having a lot of money makes you a good person. That's not the case. Okay. Having a lot of money just sometimes means you have a lot of money. Right? You have financial access, you have certain privileges, right? You were potentially born into it, or you did something to get that money. Okay? Doesn't mean that you're a good person, absolutely not. So I want you to think about what you are pursuing, okay? What you value, what you deem important, okay? And how do you align with that? What does it mean for you in your head? What is the definition of it? The law of attraction can sometimes be a very big distraction. The law of attraction can actually create more confusion. Okay? So start to think about life more in the ways of, what am I cultivating? Okay? What kind of relationships am I continuing to exist in? Or what do I find desirable? Okay? We'll be attracted to a lot of things, and a lot of things will be attracted to us. But it's what we decide to stop and stand still for, okay, and take our time with, that will be more information than this whole superficial attraction thing. All right. So just think about that. I've been really paying attention to how my life has been playing out and my experiences, and I've also noticed what I've been resistant to. Okay, so even though some things in life have lasted for a very long time, I could also recognize my resistance, okay, and finally my desire to do something about it, because that's information too. Okay? A lot of times you are not what you attract. You are more aligned with what you are choosing to cultivate. Just think about that, all right? I am launching a wellness community, okay? It starts this Tuesday. We have our first workshop on the holidays and boundaries. And if you want to sign up, if you're looking for community support, like-minded individuals who are also looking to just grow and expand, come take a look, come stop by. Yeah, and just come take care of yourselves, because it's going to be a good time. Yes, this first workshop is going to be this Tuesday, 11/26 at, I believe it's 6 p.m. Pacific time or 3 p.m. Pacific time, one of those. And yeah, it's going to be a good time, and I'm really excited to share this space with you guys. I'll leave the link in the description of this episode, and yeah, we'll just go from there. But in the meantime, I just want you to ask yourself and recognize, what do I feel like I've been cultivating lately in my life? How has that been a reflection of what I desire? How has it deviated away from what I actually say that I want? And am I afraid to just try things differently, or just simply pivot? Okay, what does that look like? All right. So again, take some time to think about what a common theme in your life has been lately, what you say you desire, how those two things correlate, all right? And find yourself in the mix. Don't let the law of attraction distract you from your actual desires and your true purpose. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. Take flight.